Well, hello everyone. I am meteorologist Adam Clayton here in the Storm Team 27 Weather Center here in Youngstown, Ohio, where we are seeing another cloudy day, and I'm bringing you another weather update on this December 12th, Monday, now less than 2 weeks away from Christmas, if you can believe that. Got my Christmas-ish shirt on, I guess, right now, and we're going to dive into it because that big storm that I've been talking about all week is, it's on shore now, and it's really starting to bring some interesting weather to parts of the country. So we can start by looking at the satellite, and pretty much quiet everywhere except for the western United States, where there is a huge, very strong low pressure system right now. And we can go ahead and put this into animation. You can really see this thing. Look how fast those winds are just by looking at the satellite. You can see the swirl setting up there, still set up like an area of low pressure. Still looks like back in parts of like California and Nevada. But as this storm system crosses over the Rockies, low pressure system right here is going to form on the leeward side of the Rockies. It's actually a natural phenomenon. So you might be wondering, well, why do low pressure systems so many times form out there in the Great Plains? Actually, when flow goes over the Rocky Mountains or any like big mountain range like that, it actually produces counterclockwise flow, which in the United States, since we have the Gulf of Mexico to the south and then like cold continental air to the north, it makes for the perfect recipe for low pressure systems. So there's your first lesson for the day. But looking at the national radar, it looks relatively quiet. Now there is still some heavy mountain snow going on across parts of the Rockies right now, but things are going to change in a major way here in pretty much the next 12 hours or so. Water vapor imagery showing we've got all this water vapor, all those green colors in the Great Plains and then also the Rockies. Some drier air further down to the south for now. But like I said, it's setting the stage. You can kind of almost see it setting up here in the temperature map. We've got this warmer air that is now migrated further to the north and west. Oklahoma City up to 51 degrees, El Paso at 65, Houston at 70, even some 80s down there in extreme southern Texas. And you have this cold air, Billings at 19 degrees, and Bismarck at 29. And it's this clash of air masses that is going to bring us this big storm. Look at this U.S. Watches and Warnings map. Now that dark blue might be a color you haven't seen before in my videos. That is blizzard warnings all across parts of Colorado, Wyoming, Nebraska, Montana, and South Dakota, because they are going to see quite the blizzard. And then we have pinks, winter storm warnings, light blues, which is winter storm watches, and then this sort of like the colors can get confusing, but more of a royal blue, those are winter weather advisories. Colorado just gets it all. I mean, they've got red flag advisories, which is like fire weather. Then we've got dark brown, light brown, which those are like high wind warnings for this really high winds. And you've got blizzard warnings in the northwestern part of the state and winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories elsewhere. Still have some flash flood advisories down there in the southeastern United States. Nothing showing up in the northeastern United States yet. But another side of this storm system is the fact that there is a chance for severe weather. So severe weather outlook, this is valid tomorrow. A 3 out of 5 there for like Shreveport, Monroe, parts of eastern Texas and northern Louisiana, and then into parts of eastern Mississippi. And then, level 2 in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Beaumont, Dallas, Waco, Tyler, Texas, and then Jackson, almost stretching all the way up to the Memphis area. And then the dark green is a level 1, which includes like Houston, Galveston. But the focus of the severe weather potential for tomorrow is in eastern Texas and northern Louisiana. And then there is a chance that this could continue into the next day on Wednesday, level 2 out of 5 from the Storm Prediction Center in Norman, Oklahoma, and they are who outlooks the severe weather. It includes Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Jackson, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, Dothan, Alabama, and then Tallahassee down there. So certainly something, another side of the system to keep an eye on. Now, as far as the future rainfall, next 7 days, southeast once again, they're getting the brunt of it. And they had been in some drought conditions, but things are starting to change. And then the West Coast looks to be calming down a little bit, but still going to see quite a bit of precipitation in the eastern United States, and some of that is going to fall as snow. So let's go ahead and track out this storm system here and see what it's going to do. Like I said, as this low pressure system crosses the Rockies, it's going to strengthen significantly, and by this time tomorrow they will be seeing blizzard conditions in Colorado, Nebraska, Rapid City, South Dakota, which anytime I think of Rapid City, South Dakota, I just think of the word blizzard because they get so much of them, and then parts of North Dakota as well. You can see the wind spinning on the model here, and watch this thing continue to just wrap up. And actually, the low pressure system occludes for a time, which is an interesting word. You'll hear that word a lot thrown around in meteorology, and all it really means is that for a low pressure system to sort of continue to strengthen, it needs to continue to get to its heat source, so it needs to continue to bring in some warmer air. But what happens oftentimes with these storm systems is the cold front will actually catch up to the warm front, and then that sort of cuts the low pressure system off. But for a time, it'll still stay strong. This is Wednesday morning, still seeing those blizzard-like conditions and snow. So another question you might be asking is, what exactly is a blizzard? It does have a set criteria. Now, not everything in meteorology has a set criteria, but blizzards do. So the first thing that you need for a blizzard is frequent wind gusts greater than or equal to 35 miles per hour. And then that needs to be accompanied by blowing or falling snow. So you can have blizzards without even having falling snow, just regular blowing snow due to the wind. And then this must reduce the visibility less than 0.25 miles for 3 or more hours. So you're probably wondering, how do they even, decipher that? Well, we have weather stations all across the country that can actually tell what the visibility is. So then you can get the wind gusts, you can tell whether or not there's snow on the ground, blowing snow or falling snow, and then you can see what the visibility is and see what that is going on. So that's the definition of a blizzard. Future snowfall here expected. Watch this. This is just insane to watch this go out. You can see the time there right under future snowfall, and they're going to see in upwards of 3 feet in some of those places. And with the wind, the drifting of this snow is going to be incredible to see. We're going to see some incredible pictures out of probably South Dakota here in the next 48 to 72 hours. So now the other part of this storm, of course, is the chance for severe thunderstorms. Now let's orient you on this map. The green wind barbs are mid-level wind, or I'm sorry, low-level winds, and then the red wind barbs, or wind arrows, I should say, are the mid-level flow. So what you can see in this is that the low-level flow, the green arrows, is pretty much out of the south-southwest, while the red arrows have a more westerly component. So anytime you get this like shift in wind direction with height, that's called wind shear, and it can lead to storms rotating. And anytime you get rotation in thunderstorms, the potential for them to be severe pretty much increases significantly. Now on the bottom of that, you see those greenish bluish colors. That's actually instability. It's called convective available potential energy, which is just a fancy word for the energy that thunderstorms can use to grow vertically to get thunderstorm updrafts. So as we look at this, anywhere where that wind shear there, where those arrows are moving at different directions, matches up with that instability, is where we could see some severe thunderstorms. So that's matching up tomorrow in parts of southeast Texas into Louisiana, exactly where they had that drawn out. Now this will also continue as we head into the day on Wednesday. It'll look a little bit different because another area of low pressure is going to form, but you can see once again pushing into parts of Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, and Tallahassee. Those wind barbs once again are sort of almost going across each other with the wind shear showing up, and then a little bit of instability, though not as much as what we were seeing earlier. It's hard to get instability in December because it's cold. Anytime you think about instability, more instability is like a summertime thing. So we can actually watch this squall line march across the country. Now, what we see here is this sort of just a line of storms. This is like the cold front pushing through. But if you get one of these like broken cells, like one there in like northern Louisiana, that can be what's called a supercell thunderstorm. Supercell thunderstorms are basically just a different class of thunderstorm that's very intense, and they have to have rotating updrafts. And supercell thunderstorms, you've probably heard the term before, but they're responsible for the most severe weather. They produce the most severe weather out of any other type of thunderstorm in the form of like hail, damaging wind, and also tornadoes. So this is Tuesday night at 7:45, marching across Texas, northern Louisiana, and then this will move into parts of Mississippi and then sort of hang out there. This is Wednesday afternoon, and then start to push into parts of Mississippi as well. So this is certainly another side of the storm to keep track on. And then what's going to happen is that a secondary area of low pressure is going to form, start to push towards like the Great Lakes region or Midwest region. There's going to be some cold air trapped in. You see this high pressure system in the northeast. And what's going to happen is this precipitation is going to kind of overrun that cold air. Warm air is less dense than cold air, so this low pressure system has a little bit warmer air with it than compared to the high pressure. So the precipitation is going to kind of overrun that, and when you get that, you can sort of get like a wintry mix that shows up. And this happens a lot in the eastern United States, especially along the Appalachian Mountains. So it doesn't look like a significant icing event by any means, but certainly could see some freezing rain, sleet, and some snow as this low pressure system pushes towards the area. And then another area of low pressure will develop off the eastern coast, and then soon, later on this weekend, we'll finally rid ourselves of this storm system as it pushes off the eastern coast. So one last slide here, just to review our precipitation types during the winter time. So snow and rain are easy. Snow occurs when the entire column of air between the cloud and the ground is below freezing, so you just get pure snowflakes. Now sleet is a little bit different. It starts at freezing in the clouds, and then that snow falls through a little bit of a warm layer that melts the snow, but not entirely, melts it into just ice pellets, and then that falls to the ground. Freezing rain is really interesting. I think it's one of the most interesting weather phenomena there is. Start off as snow in the clouds. The warm layer is above freezing, melts the snow into rain, but then there's enough cold air left at the bottom where temperatures are at or below freezing that actually forms into supercooled liquid droplets. So water actually can exist as a liquid at temperatures below freezing, and when that smacks the contact, like when it hits the ground, it flash freezes immediately. So I think that's one of the really cool things. It's actually a big thing for the production of lightning also. So just a quick primer on that, and that's pretty much the video. Now there is, I am going to talk about Christmas coming up here in a while. The Christmas forecast actually looks it looks like it could be pretty interesting with some active weather, but we are going to see about that. But I'm going to cut the video short today because this was a lot to talk about. So if you like this video, please press the please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I'm going to continue to do this. This one's in the afternoon because that's actually when I work on Mondays. So I'm going to continue to do this, and I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but it's a big day. There's a lot of weather going on, so I wanted to make sure that I got to it all. Well, I hope everyone has a fantastic Monday, fantastic rest of the week. I'm meteorologist Adam Clayton here in the Storm Team 27 Weather Center.